Well, hey everyone, here we are today, City League Sports Show. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. Joining us in studio is Justin Sharfenaker. Justin comes to us as a former Briggs high school student. He's now doing his thing at the collegiate level. Justin, say hello to everybody here today.
What's up? How we doing?
Look at that. He gave a nice what's up. That's some West Side love, right? Shout it out there. Justin, we're going to dive right into it, man.
Okay.
Tell everybody, when did you graduate from high school? And so for those of us that are kind of like, we got this long time listening group that's been following the show. And even for people that are new, we kind of got like a double newness today, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even know if that's a proper grammatic way of phrasing it. But what I mean is, so here you are on the show, but we're talking about boys volleyball.
Yeah.
Right? Like boys volleyball. That you know what I mean? So traditionally, boys volleyball really isn't a part of kind of the landscape. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell my age a little bit. For those of us that are old, right, you know what I mean? All of you Top Gun TV watchers out there, anybody that's watched the original Top Gun movie, I think we kind of think of boys volleyball as Tom Cruise and them playing out there the 2-on-2 in the sand, right?
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about boys volleyball. Get the listeners educated a little bit. What's going on with the sport? How do you get involved? Mm-hmm. And then we'll start to go from there.
Yeah. So to go back to what you're saying, I graduated in 2019, and with that, we didn't have boys volleyball at my school when I was there. Okay. So I wanted to change that because every time in my life, I had to introduce volleyball where I was going because it was so uncommon, like you were saying. Yeah. So with that, I told my dad, I was like, hey, I want to start a team. How do I do this? Let's get the ball rolling because I want volleyball to have this snowball effect where everyone else can learn about it and play and have the opportunity to that I didn't have.
Nice.
So I talked with him and we started recruiting guys. So I started the program at Briggs my sophomore year. So we just had I think 12 people show up. Okay. That's all we needed. Yeah. We had a team. A lot of my friends played and just from that initial year, so many other people wanted to come try out. So many other people wanted to, it sparked something and other schools started doing it and we had a city league and it was amazing. Yeah. So.
I mean, and it really got off and running. So I guess what's interesting to me, and I didn't know this, what you just shared. So give me, how do you get involved with it then? What makes you say to your dad, who, by the way, and we give shout outs on here, right? But your dad is a longtime staff member at Briggs High School, has coached multiple sports, has coached girls volleyball, done some softball, did the boys volleyball, just an all around great guy. And we're lucky to have him here in the City League, right? But what makes you say, I enjoy volleyball so much, Dad, let's figure it out? Where did that come from at 15, 16 years old?
Well, it actually started when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
So he coached volleyball for a long time. And my older sister, Sarah, she actually started playing volleyball in middle school. Oh, wow. And little brother things, we have to go to all the games. That's right. I mean, when I went to all the games, I was like, you know what? This is such an interesting sport. Played baseball at the time. I was like, this is just so different. Yeah. So as she went to high school and went to practices with my dad, I was stuck with them. So I was might as well learn how to play this. Certainly. So every day at practice, I would be against the wall playing the sport. And I was I love how fresh it is. I love the uniqueness. And Errol, the men's volleyball coach at Whetstone, he caught on to that. And he was telling my dad, you got to get him to go play. Nice. So me and him would pepper and stuff. And I'd see him and he'd encourage me. Yeah. So the love was always there early on. Okay. And I was why not do this?
Figure it out.
Yeah. Why not? Because Whetstone had it. And I was well, I'm not going to go there. Right. I'm going to just, work with what I got.
Certainly. So. The beauty of it is obviously in the City League, I don't know that we can have any volleyball discussion and Coach Rembert's name doesn't come up. He's a legend in our school district, as you probably can imagine. A legend certainly at Whetstone. He's been there, I think almost 40 years. Yeah. He's been coaching there longer than most people have, he's seen so many kids. Yeah. And it's interesting to hear that he plays a part in your story, right? So here you are on opposite sides of the city, but the love for the sport of volleyball kind of brings the two of you together, and he helps influence and say, hey, you know what, Dad, you got something here, right? You got a young person who's passionate and enjoying this sport. But I don't know that people really, like, you got to see it to really grab a hold of it, because it's not your kind of like bump 1, 2, 3, get the ball. I mean, it's like high intense. Yeah. It's fierce. So you start playing in high school. You're out here running around. You help your dad build a team, and it's one of the fastest growing sports that's out there right now, right? Like, kids are really getting involved. There's a lot of power and athleticism that goes into it. So did you stop playing baseball to do volleyball?
I did, and so it was about, I think, 8 years old. I was like, hey guys, I want to switch to volleyball.
Yeah.
We're a baseball family. I thought
That's right. Your dad played baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad,
played in college, man.
Yeah. He was good.
Yeah. No doubt. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
But
how'd that conversation go?
I thought it was going to go way worse than it did.
Okay.
I was telling my mom, I was like, I don't want to like.
Did you go to mom first?
I went to mom first.
Smart,
I always go to mom first.
Smart. Yes, indeed. Take note, everybody out there. Go to mom's first.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I love
so you go to mom first, and how'd that go?
Good. She was like, I just support you with whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If you want to play volleyball, we'll help you out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's dad going to say? And she was like, he's going to support you no matter what. But I thought I was like, going against the whole family. I was like, we're baseball, we're softball. Like,
it's what we do.
Yeah. But it went great. He was like, okay, like
all in.
Yeah, all in.
Good for him, man. That's that speaks to it. And kind of before we started on air here today, we were talking here in the studio, and we'll get into your college stuff in a moment. But you shared some things that just really spoke to how supportive your family has been. So when you were a kid, could you feel it, or was it just mom and dad being mom and dad? Or were you able to recognize, like, hey, they're really helping support kind of my journey and my dream?
Well, kind of early on, yeah. Like, wherever I went, they were there. Wherever they were, like, it was just, they were.
But no, I'm asking, did you feel that as support for doing boys volleyball, or did you just see it as mom and dad being mom and dad? And the reason why I asked that question is because I'm just curious about the level of self-awareness of it, right? Like, because when you're a kid and you're just running around, and I'm really saying this as kudos to parents, right? I'm giving parents some love out there, because I think a lot of times kids, and it's okay, so there's no wrong answer for you, but it's like, I think kids sometimes, when mom or dad are doing such a great job, you don't even know that is support. They're just doing mom and dad, right? And I just wonder if that was the energy of it, because you're blazing on a sport that really has, like, it's taking off now. But when you're talking about it 7, 8 years ago, I don't know that boys volleyball would have even. I'll be honest, on our show, I don't know that we would have had a boys volleyball show, to be very honest. You know what I mean? 8 years ago or 7 years ago when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is the first of many, right, for us to go. But so your parents were supportive, though.
They were. And to go back at your question, it was just normal for me. And then when, like, club practices started, and I realized that, like, my dad's the only one who's consistently there, no one else's were, I was like, this is something special. I have to really hold on to this, because
good for him.
They're always there, and I love it.
Yeah. So where'd you have to go to find club volleyball at the time, when you probably had to travel a little bit to find it, right? Or no?
I got lucky.
Okay.
So in the beginning, the real beginning, my grandfather was trying to help out with the whole process and finding me where to play.
Yeah.
He found me a league in Grove City. I was the only boy in the entire program.
Wow.
No other guy would do it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of how it always was. Like, with my dad coaching, I was the only boy in the gym.
Yeah.
Who was playing with them, like, getting into it. And then starting out on my own was the only boy.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at it like that. I was like, I'm getting to play the sport that I love.
Certainly.
So starting there was just a whole different experience. And, like, again, going back on the family, like, my grandpa wanted to help out.
Yeah.
They all wanted
your
to help out.
Your dad's dad or your mom's
My
dad?
dad's dad.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like your grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody got involved. They got behind you. You're kind of blazing this trail now. And then we'll go back a little bit. So senior year, you had a really successful year.
Thank you.
Right? You end up being, state player of the year. Right? You get recognized, and you're in the sport and you're around it. And then tell us about your journey then into college. Tell everybody where you're at now and kind of how you transition and you go from being at a Briggs High School to playing college, men's volleyball.
Yeah. So to kind of talk about, like, the whole Briggs High School experience, like, everything that I've learned from Briggs has helped me in my life. And that's kind of the reason like I chose it, because I feel like the way my dad talks about it and like all his friends talk about like teaching there, you just get an experience that like you never really get anywhere else.
Wow,
like a Columbus City school, you get the experience of what the world is like.
Wow,
because you see so many different backgrounds, stories, people, and with that, it's helped me so much go into college. Where I can, adapt to any like surrounding. It just helps my character so much.
Certainly.
And so when I went to go pick a college, I wanted the same experience. And through high school, so many people have a negative connotation when it comes to the word like city school.
Yeah.
And as bad as that sounds, I don't know why they do that, whatever. But I wanted kind of like an underdog story. I wanted to like go somewhere where I had that same kind of thing where I go now, LMU is kind of like a hidden gem where it's like, where is this place at? Like, you guys are in the middle of the mountains.
Certainly.
And then we go to these places and we beat these teams and you're like, oh, now we know who you are.
Certainly.
So it's kind of similar.
So tell everyone who LMU is. You just gave the initials, but tell everyone who it is.
So it's Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. It is a D2, D1 volleyball program. And yeah, it's great. I love it.
So give our listeners some context. What city did you just say?
Harrogate, Tennessee.
Is that closer to Nashville or closer to Memphis?
It's closer to Knoxville.
Knoxville, okay, so closer to Knoxville.
Yes.
And so what is that for us about us? If you're driving, what's that, 6-hour drive?
About like 5 hours.
5-hour drive. Yeah. Okay, so you go 5 hours southwest from home.
Yeah.
You're in Tennessee, and you arrive there and all of a sudden you're on campus and you're playing men's volleyball.
Yeah.
Right. Is that kind of was it that simple for you? Like how do you find this Lincoln Memorial place? How do you find, or do they find you?
They found me.
Okay.
So we had club nationals in Phoenix, Arizona, and there was a lot of the college coaches there, like scouting us, like Ohio State, Penn State, whatever.
Certainly.
And everyone's dreamed to go there. Like like oh yeah, and then my coach now came up to me and gave me the best business pitch. I mean, he was like, we have this, we have that. We want you, and this is how we work down here.
Nice.
And just from that initial conversation, it was so fresh and unique that I'd never had with any other coach.
Right.
He felt like he saw me and wanted me for me and who I was and my background.
Right.
Rather than just a player.
Right.
And I knew from that moment, I was like, this is the one.
Okay.
Because I want to,
even before you seen the place, knew like step foot on campus, the coach did his job to help resonate the program for you. Wow, that's the power of coaching, right there.
It really is.
So I'm not. We're going to go a little bit away from Lincoln Memorial, but I like to share often that sports is this like really great opportunity that can take you literally all over the country or just sometimes all over the world, right? Depending on the opportunities that come before you. And I want to backtrack for a moment because I want to share something that I think your father did that was really great. That I remember I had a student come to me, and I'm gonna say her name, but so when I was teaching, this is over 20 some odd years ago, had a student in school at Columbus Walnut Ridge. Her name is Trisha Reed. I'll never forget this. Trisha Reed, and I'm only sharing this because of the correlations in sports, right?
Yeah.
But Trisha Reed comes to me one day and she says, hey, you should start a bowling team. This is back when bowling was not popular, right? And she says to me that, she says, well, I'm a pretty good bowler, and if you get me on the team, we'll just find some other kids and we can go like win us a state championship or something. I'm thinking, kid, you don't even know what you're talking about, right? You have no idea. And I didn't look into it enough, right? And she said it a few other times and it kind of just drifted and went away. And I think she continued to do club bowling, right?
Yeah.
One day, probably 7 or 8 years later, I'm like over winter break. I'm half asleep one morning, and on the television, some women's bowling adult championship was coming on, right? And I remember it's in the background noise. And then they say out of nowhere, Trisha Reed from Columbus, Ohio. It's like she goes on to become a professional bowler.
Wow.
Right? And I'm sitting here saying to myself, wow. So when I see her, I kind of like jokingly say, hey, you know what? That could have been my one state championship. I didn't know you were that good. And I found out later on she was pretty good.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So your father listened to you. He helps get a team started. You guys are doing your thing. But you said you were in Arizona, right? Yeah. Doing volleyball. So what has the sport done for you? Just in terms of experiences. Like share with us, some of the places it's taken you, some of the things you've been able to do through the sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's given me so much, honestly. Like, I don't think I would have done half the things I would have done with volleyball and the opportunities that it's given me. I've got to travel most of the whole United States. And honestly, that experience in and of itself is just incredible. I got to go to Hawaii. I've got to go to California.
All of this through Florida. The sport?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's mind-blowing because in the moment you're like, wow, I'm at this place. And then you take a step back and like, I'm at this place because of this.
Right.
And it's a surreal moment to realize. And I'm so grateful for like wherever volleyball has ever taken me because I've met so many cool people, friends, networking and everything like you could imagine this sport has given me. And I love it so much.
So give me a couple of good memories. Like where are some places where you've played and you just really had a good time?
I always go to Hawaii first. So we played the University of Hawaii about 2 years ago.
Nice.
And as soon as you step off that plane, it's just a whole different world. And it is the most beautiful place I've ever been to. And the fans, you think that you're going, they're going to have a home court advantage. The fans are going to hate you.
Right.
It's going to be this whole thing. But the fans were cheering for us too.
Nice.
And it was just this beautiful experience. There was like a section of women who had like leis. And instead of like giving it to just Hawaii, they gave it to us too. And like they were talking to us and they were learning about us. And like just that passion of the sport was just culminating in that area.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Those are the experiences you remember for a lifetime. When I was in school playing basketball at Duquesne, we didn't get to go to Hawaii. We went to another faraway place, but without the beautiful weather or a different type of beautiful weather. We went to Alaska, right? Man. So, and it was a great experience, but I would have much rather been near the beaches in the wintertime in Hawaii. So you've been to Hawaii, you've been to California, you've been all these kind of wonderful places. So along this journey, what has been going back to mom and dad, what has been their role through all this? Have they continued to be on this journey with you?
They have. I'm so grateful for it. So I want to say almost every place that I've gone to is with them. Like they have come to support, and I look up in the stands and I see them and I see them get really into it.
Certainly.
It's that feeling that I've always had and it's never left during the whole volleyball experience. And it still gets me to this day, like still makes me so happy just to see them like supporting something that in the beginning I thought would never happen.
Right.
So it's this full circle moment every time.
Over and over
and over again.
You know, I will share with you, man, and I've been in the sports space and education space for a long time. I share with parents, and I say this to my own siblings. I remember being a kid, and when me and my siblings speak to each other, we're around the same age, right? So we're close in age, and our memory kind of says that my dad was at all of our games. Which I know is impossible, right? Because I know there were nights we played at the same time, right? Excuse me. So it's like he couldn't have been at my game and your game, but as our memory, like our childhood, he was always there, right? And so not everyone has that. So like really enjoy that when you get. I didn't know you were going to be in studio today. I shared that with you. I thought maybe you were still at school. When you get home today, hug mom and dad again. And so for my parents that listen, show up to your kids' games. Like you're hearing firsthand here today of a young person who's saying how much it has meant to him to just look in the stands and see mom or dad. So take that moment. Go sit in the gymnasium. Go bring your folding chair out by the baseball diamond or softball field. Go to the soccer game. It means a lot to your child for you to be there. So mom and dad's been there along this journey. You said they've only missed a handful. So they were in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all just
the whole family was in Hawaii.
Oh, y'all turned it into a nice, good, say, hey, we're going to make this into like a vacation.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So now tell me a little bit about Lincoln and your playing. What's the style like? You know what I mean? Give us some volleyball lingo now. Let's get into the sport because it's not, like I said, it's not 1, 2, 3. Just hope to get it over the net. I mean, it's set. It's trying to spike every time. It's hardcore, right? So let's get into some of that. How are you doing? How's the team doing? Kind of tell me about the style that you guys play.
Everything's going great so far. I mean, we have currently the longest home winning streak in the nation, surpassing Hawaii last year.
Okay.
So that's pretty incredible.
So notes to schools out there, don't go to Lincoln Memorial, right, to play because they got a good thing going.
We got the best home court advantage. I'm telling you, we play in this like little gym and it's like the most compact place. Yeah. It looks like straight out of the 80s.
Okay.
And it has...
What year were you born?
2001.
I love it. You said straight out of the 80s. I love that.
I'm telling you, it looks... I mean, the floor's never changed. It's the same. And the fans who come to watch us play make it. Because you say anything in there, it echoes. Okay. So imagine like 200 people yelling. Right. That echo is crazy. So like home games, anyone who comes in there, we have a home court advantage. Right. They're screaming. And like we beat Loyola at home. Okay. Huge game. Yeah. We were all like, okay, like this could go either way. Right. Came out there, strictly business. Certainly. Had all of our fans in the stands. And the floor was like kind of shaking because it was so loud in there.
It was rocking.
Yeah. And I would have never imagined that as a senior in high school, coming to a place like this in the middle of nowhere. Right. And I was like, of course I'm not going to like support volleyball. Right. But my freshman year in college, that was our mission. To have everyone come to our games to have an atmosphere like that. Okay. So we kind of like got the ball rolling.
Built it up then also.
We have, yeah. And
who's your coach? Who's this coach? Say the coach's name.
His name's John Cash.
Love it, John Cash.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So John Cash is the coach. You come in as a freshman. He's building a program. Mm-hmm. You're a part of that experience, and now it gets rocking inside that place when you guys play. Yeah. Yeah. So, what position do you play?
I play right side. You
play right side. Yeah. Okay. So is that the name of the position? I don't know. So educate me a little bit. Give me the kindergarten version.
Okay. So basically, there's an outside, which is the left side. All right. There's a middle. Yeah. And there's a right side. Okay. You have that in the front and the back. All right. So it's either called opposite or right side. Okay. Or weak side. There's a couple names. Okay. I don't like weak side because it sounds like I'm weak.
No, I get okay. But yeah.
I just say right side.
There you go.
So there's like different positions, like the left side or the opposite. Okay. Their job is to do a mixture of everything. Okay. The middle is like hit, block, everywhere.
Does men's volleyball also have the what's the position
libero?
With the fancy jersey?
Yeah,
they got
libero.
that also.
We got that. Yeah.
All right. I got educated on that one time I was watching. I said, who gets to wear the fancy jersey? But the libero gets to wear the fancy jersey. Yep. Okay.
And then my position where our main thing is just to hit the ball. Love it.
You just get to spike it. Just jump and spike it. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, that's what I do.
So when you hit it, what is that called? Like a kill or something like that? Okay. And so how many kills do you have? Like give us some numbers. Are you out there getting it? How does that work? Does somebody keep that as a stat? Is that a stat?
Do, yeah. Okay. I don't know what I'm currently at in college, but I was pretty close to 1,000 in high school.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when you say 1,000 in high school and games go to what, 25 points or something like that? So that means you would get like a point. I mean, because if you get a kill, that means
you get a point,
get a point, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just doing math here. So even if you got 75, even if you just got all three of them in one night, 75 to get to 1,000, well, that's a lot of kills.
That's a lot of kills.
Yeah. You were doing really well. Okay, I'm doing math in my head for all my math folks out there that are crunching numbers. So this year coming up, is this your final year?
This is.
Final year you're going into. And you're a grad student at Lincoln.
I am.
You're doing well there. And so on the schedule coming up, we were talking a little bit about, so what's some of the games you're looking forward to this year?
So we are currently going to USC and Pepperdine out in California.
During the same trip?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a really good time. And then we're going to go play Princeton and Harvard. So I'm really looking
get the Ivy Leaguers in there a little bit, right? Figure out if they can play a little bit of volleyball.
Yeah. Okay. And we have a game in Ohio against Columbus State. Not Columbus State.
Central State.
I always get this here.
Yeah. No, Central State in Dayton.
State. Yeah.
Yeah. Close to home here, maybe an hour away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So family who's been there, obviously on this journey with you, they'll definitely be able to make that drive, right? It's like going down the street here. Yeah. Interesting to hear that, you said Central State, which is a historically Black university, right? So it's interesting to hear HBCU also has like a men's volleyball.
Yeah.
It really shares how much the program or how much the sport is kind of growing, right? So you guys get a chance to go to California. You're going to go out to Boston. You're going and then you're going to bring it like it even speaks to how full circle the opportunity is, right?
Yeah.
You're in California, Boston, and Dayton, Ohio this year as a grad student playing volleyball. Who this journey for you begins with hanging out with dad while he's coaching, 7, 8 years old. A combination of a longtime city guy, Coach Earl Rembert, who's over at Whetstone. And then, you know what I mean, you look up and now here you are 14 years later and the sport is taking you all these wonderful places. Yeah. So what happens now? What happens so you get through this year and so then what happens?
So currently I'm doing my master's degree in school counseling.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking to give back.
You're going to be an educator.
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking to give back, and especially in a school system like Columbus City Schools.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is Columbus where you want to come back to? Do you want to come back to Central Ohio?
I do.
We're a growing city, man.
Yeah.
We're come on, we're on fire right now. Man, I don't know if you listeners out there know, but Columbus is growing. But where would you be thinking maybe per se your journey is going to take you after school?
Currently, the plan is to go to California for a couple of years just to get my, experience in there, just live life, and then.
I have a niece who's in California. She said I was only going for a couple of years. She's been there for a while now.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be me too.
Okay,
but hopefully come back home in the future too. So I love it here.
Yeah. Well, we don't have California's weather at all.
We don't.
And obviously, you've been out there a few times, so you've had a chance to experience it. Yeah. What an amazing experience you've had, and we're lucky here in Columbus City for you to come and share it with us. You're a part of a beginning for us, right? Like, you know what I mean, as a school district, as a sport, and I know that obviously you're not the founder of the sport, right? You don't invent the sport, but obviously the game has grown even during your duration of kind of adolescence, growing up, childhood, teenage years.
Immensely, yeah.
You know what I mean? The sport has grown immensely, and it continues to grow.
It does.
So take me back to that sophomore in high school. And, for all the kids who are listeners to the show, people who follow the show, what's the advice you give to somebody who's looking to do something like you, who says, hey, look, I want to try this new sport? What's the advice you have?
I would say always do it. Always listen to your gut. Always, take every experience that you can and go for it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, don't let yourself get in the way. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
Because you always have something to prove and prove them.
I like that. That's good stuff. Hey, look, I'm excited for you. I hope you have a wonderful year. You know what I mean? I hope this season goes well for you guys. Continue to kick butt. And what's the name of the city again?
It is Harrogate, Tennessee.
Harrogate.
Yeah.
Tennessee. Okay, so you guys are in Tennessee. You're playing men's volleyball. This is not for people my age who watched Top Gun when it first came out. What's the new Top Gun called?
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, it's not. We're not talking that one, people. For all you young listeners, we're talking about Top Gun 30 years ago, or maybe even longer. I don't know when it came out. We're not talking that that volleyball with two people in the sand.
I look the same as him, though.
Yeah, there you go.
I look the same. I'm the stunt devil.
There you go. So I love it, right? So not that Top Gun volleyball. We're talking about high intense. Any sport where you kind of can throw in a name that a stat is called a kill, right? Yeah. That means there's some vicious and stuff going on, right? I love it. It's been a blast. Kudos to your parents. Give them both some love. Say hi to mom and dad on the show here.
I will. Hi, Mom. Go,
yeah. Give them some love. Guys. Yes, indeed. I love it. I will continue to share for all of our listeners, for all of our guests. Your support team is important, listeners. Parents, you heard it here. So if we got one takeaway here, we got multiple. We got follow your dreams as a kid. We got the village of people who, can help you guide your way. But parents, go spend the afternoon at your child's game. Go spend the evening at your child's game. Be there and be in the moment. They'll remember it for a lifetime, right? I'm going to let you say whatever you want to share on the way out of here. They're giving us a signal. We got to wrap it up. But you share anything you want to share about it, man, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Yeah, I want to preface again, just follow your dreams. Do whatever you want to do. It's your life. You got to live it.
Yeah.
And I've had some of the best experiences in Columbus City Schools, and I really appreciate you inviting me on here and me being here. So thank you.
No, this has been a blast. We're the lucky ones, man. You know, guests like you come and give back, and it really it shares with all the entire city all the really cool and amazing stuff we're doing. Yeah. And sometimes it takes the voice of a young person to kind of help get us there, right? I don't know that we have this heavy dose of men's volleyball or opportunities if not for the Justins of the world. You know what I mean? Who says, hey, come on, let's figure it out. So much respect to you. Kudos to your parents. Parents, again, get out there to your children's games. That's all we have for today. Great show. Thank you to our guests. I want to share with everyone out there, follow us on wherever you wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Apple, Spotify, and keep up with us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. This is Justin Sharfenaker here in studio. We had a blast today and look forward to the next one. Appreciate you being out.
Thank you.